All right, so everybody, welcome Jason Stewart to the channel. He's very positive. I love his content, bro. He always posts some very uplifting stuff on his Instagram. If you haven't checked it out, I'll leave it in the description. But go ahead and check my boy out. Jason, it's the first time that we've actually, talked on the phone besides text. So, what's good with you?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to doing the same thing, whether we inspire or help somebody learn something or just share a story of something similar that someone else is going through. That's why I really enjoy doing these interviews, is just to put more game out there, put more energy out there, and the people who want to pick up on that and take it and utilize it for good. That's what I'm hoping we get done today. So it's good to be on here.
Yes, sir. And I planned on writing down some questions, but honestly, bro, I'm gonna just go straight from the dome because I've been thinking about this for a while. So I'm gonna just get straight into it. In high school, you didn't have a lot of like major offers and all that stuff, right? And how was that going from JUCO to being unranked or whatever, and then becoming the number one JUCO player?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, when you talk about not having offers from big schools, I didn't have any offers. Like even Division III schools were coming in and like a bit unsure. They were like, yeah, we can't give you an offer because D3 doesn't do that. But they were still trying to put together some type of package. And it's just like, it didn't sit right with me. And that's why I encourage people all the time is like, when you feel like you know your worth or you have a vision for something that you believe is possible in your life, other people's opinions is merely just a reflection of what they believe is possible for themselves. So when I told people I was going to junior college, a lot of people, bro, I can't make this up. A lot of people, whether it was certain family or certain family friends, or even some of my friends, they thought JUCO was a waste of time. They thought like, you're going to go out to the middle of nowhere, Kansas, because I'm from the DC area, Northern Virginia. They're like, you're going to go out to Kansas. You've never been there and you're in JUCO. What's actually going to come of it? But, once again, they didn't see the work I was putting in. I would be at the field almost every day or doing some type of workout, some type of conditioning, or throwing a ball into a net, or getting receivers to come work on timing, or watching film. And if I wasn't doing that, I'd be playing the game. And it's still the same plays and coverages. So I'll be getting mental. I was just obsessed with the idea of making it to that level. And it's funny, bro, because once I actually made it to Division I remember after doing my first workout at Memphis, I called my pops in the locker room and I was like, yo, pops, I don't know if I can do this. I was like, that's one of the toughest workouts I've ever done in my life. And I literally laid there in my locker for like an hour and a half, bro. Can't make it up. I was going through it. But it's just, once again, you want something so bad. Eventually, I started crushing and dominating those workouts. But it's like anything. Every new level comes a new devil. So I just encourage people, if you think it's possible, if you think you can accomplish it, go after it. Because my work ethic, my faith times my work, it led me to number one in the nation. And, that was the biggest blessing, bro. I'll never forget that day when, I started getting those offers.
Yes, sir. And you said a new level and new devil. That sounds like something, I just made a video. It's called God Will Test You Before He Blesses You. Mm-hmm. And, you were getting all these tests, right? You had to go out to Kansas. You never even been to Kansas. You're a city kid. You're from DC, the metro area. Right. And you go out to this farm town. It's totally unfamiliar. And you ball out. And then you finally get an offer from, a D1 school, Memphis, which is, at the time, they weren't really super high level, but those teams you were playing on, they were really good teams. And even when you were at Memphis, you didn't really get to play that much. You speak a little bit on that, because you did get the test of having to go all the way out to the middle of nowhere, and then you finally get there, and then you get in test again. And obviously now, I mean, you look at your life and you have been blessed. So,
right. I love that you talked on that, bro, because people need to hear that. It's like you don't know the strength of your vision or the strength of your faith without those tests. And I oftentimes say your tests create the testimony. So it's like, that's the only way to really prove the validation of what it is that you say you want. It's like it's like a diamond tester, bro. Like, is this vision real or is it not? And the only way for me to know is I have to test it. And like you know, in the beginning, I didn't really understand that, but I didn't need to because I was willing to go to the depths, bro. Like my first season in JUCO as a freshman, we went undefeated backwards. Like I didn't win it. We didn't win a game, bro. I played half the season at quarterback, half the season at receiver, and I was actually getting more coaches and schools talking to me about playing receiver. But it's like I wanted to play quarterback. I knew I was a Division I quarterback. I go to another school in the same conference, and we ended up having like the third overall offense in the entire country. And I had some amazing guys around me, and it was the most fun I've probably ever had in a season. I had a coach. His name was Moses Harper. He just allowed me to play my game. He just trusted me to know, okay, this guy is a bit of a gambler at times. It's gonna pay off usually more often than not, but it's like he just allowed me. I felt like I could play free. And a lot of times with coaches, you know, they're like overshadowing you and like every little thing they want you to do exactly how they coach you or exactly to their system. But yeah, in regards to that question, once I got to Memphis, I was behind this 6'7", 240-pound guy, Paxton Lynch. He ended up being a first-round draft pick. So, you know, once again, only one quarterback can play. And the beauty of this season of my life, that part of my life, was God literally, he made me have to make a decision. He said, you can either be cancerous and hate on this individual for starting over you. You can hate on your brother in Christ. You know what I mean? You can be a cancer or a detriment to this team and bring negative energy and be upset and selfish that it's not centered around you. Or you can support your brother. You can uplift him. You can prepare him. You can sharpen your blade with him every single day in practice. It was making me better, right? And I was making him better, that healthy competition. And I ultimately understood at the end of the day, we were never competing against each other. I was competing against my peak. I was competing against my ultimate level of performance because when I'm out there on the field, I'm going against a defense. I'm not going against another quarterback. I'm going against a defense. So, and I'm going against my potential. So I'm grateful for that season of life because it showed me that I didn't always need to be in the driver's seat. I didn't always need to have the spotlight on me in order for me to contribute to a bigger mission. And, you know, one last thing in regards to that too, is like, there were people, for some people, it'll never be enough, bro. You can never do enough. Like for some people, I told them I was going to Memphis and they're like, oh, that's a basketball school. Or like, oh, like, you know, yeah, but Memphis, they're not very like, you know, I know you wanted to go D1, but like, you see what I'm saying? It'll never be enough. And once again, recreating the culture, recreating that shift, you know, like even though I didn't play a lot of games, I was a large part of the entire culture and us working hard and us staying positive. And like, we had so many great players and coaches and, you know, we ended up being conference champions 2 of the 3 years that I was there. And like, you know, we got some hardware. I got 3 rings that I carry around with me. I got a rock that all the players signed before the Cincinnati game, and whoever's the MVP, when you break the rock, you get to keep a chunk of it. So I got things, bro. I got, you know what I'm saying? I got pieces of the mission and of the journey that remind me daily of the tests that I've had to go through, you know? So it was a blessing, bro. I reflect on that time period very highly. And, you know, even once I knew I wasn't going to be the starter, I could have gone to another school, this or that, but, you know, I had been to so many schools, man, you know, high school and then prep school and then 2 JUCOs and HBCU in between there. And it's just like all these different schools I had bounced around, and Memphis is ultimately where I wanted to be, you know, like the players, the coaches, the city, I've truly embraced it. So I'm grateful for having to sit behind a guy, and it taught me a lot about myself.
Yeah, no, you know, in high school, I played corner, and I was behind people because I have health issues and I wasn't able to play when I was younger. So I kind of can empathize with you because I was that backup, right? Even though I knew that I had the skills to play, it wasn't working out. So I'm going to ask you, how were those conversations with Coach Norvell at the time, right? How were those conversations with you and him, with him assuring, you know, that everything's going to work out?
Well, you know what's funny, bro, is like, because I'm an entrepreneur, I've always been able to view the game from a business standpoint. Like, I understand in high school, it's usually like a lot more politics is what you'll deal with. That's something that I dealt with in high school. I didn't start until my senior year at quarterback. It's like the guy who started over me, his dad was the offensive coordinator. So it's like a lot of that. And, my dad wasn't really involved as far as coaching was concerned, but he was heavily involved as far as loving me as a father and coming to my games and like wanting to see me do great. So it was like you deal with politics at certain levels, but for me, when I got to the collegiate level, I could see, when Norvell was the coach, we actually had a guy, Riley Ferguson, who came in, and he was a 4-star out of high school, went to Tennessee, Elite 11. Like, he could spin it, man, flat out spin it. Like, if anything, I would have loved to see him and Riley and Paxton compete. It's like we just within that 3-year span, 4-year span, we had some great gunslingers come through Memphis. And even after that, Brady White has continued to do his thing, and it's really becoming a bit of a, quarterback factory in that regard. But yeah, man, I didn't ever have any issues with Norvell in regards to who should start or who should play. Like, I remember even going to him and saying like, Coach, understand this. I'm aware that Riley is a junior and I'm a senior, and he's throwing the ball better than I am. Like, just some of his decision-making would be better. I was more of an athlete, but like, I could have those conversations as if I was a coach. And I think that's also why a lot of coaches saw potential in me as even a coach. Because I'm talking about myself like a puzzle piece. I'm not even referring, like, there's, you know what I mean? It's like, so that was pretty easy for me. It was never, we could see eye to eye on a lot of that stuff.
Absolutely. And would you say that skill is very important, not only on the football field, but in life after football, right? Somebody's coming up for a promotion and they've been there longer than you, or, they do better numbers at their work than you. And, you just have to realize it's time to nut up or shut up, right? You have to either do better than they do, or, look at it from an outside perspective. If I was the owner of the company, how would I handle this, right?
Nah, facts. And like, being a head coach at that level, you got to deal with hundreds of personalities, not just the players, but all the staff, the equipment staff, the training staff, the physical therapists, like the other coaches, the players, the administrators, like the teachers. Like, it's so many different moving parts. And I could see like how that would be very stressful, and like, you're being paid as a head coach to do a job, and like, you want to do your job to the best ability while still leaving a positive impact and helping men grow as individuals. And so I get it, like, all of that I enjoyed really just watching. And if anything, I took away just like writing down, how they would script out practices. And I even released a video recently about that. Like, I would watch how detailed they would have a 3-hour practice. And that just let me know, as an entrepreneur or anyone that's working on their business or dream, if I can just be that specific within a 3-hour window, okay, for 30 minutes, I'm going to study, I'm going to watch this video. For the next 30 minutes, I'm going to try to apply what I just learned. Then for the next 30 minutes, like, just blocking it and being accountable and disciplined enough to actually go do that thing. So when I was at Memphis, I had other side hustles and things that I was doing outside of just playing ball. And a large part of that was the blessing of not getting to play. Like, I knew I had to put my hunger and vision and tenacity towards something else if I wasn't going to get to put on the field.
Yeah, and I was actually about to ask you about that next, right? So having a backup plan, right? You see football might not be going exactly where you wanted it to go, or your dreams, right? And if we're being honest, only a small percentage of people make it to the big leagues or even get to start at a D1 school, right? How did you come to terms with that and say, okay, I'm not, going to make it to this level as it seems right now.
Right.
But I know me personally, and I'm successful minded. What can I do as a backup plan if this doesn't go the way I want it to?
Yeah, it was interesting. I took an entrepreneurship class at Memphis, and I had already, like, most of my life, I had already had my hands on things. Like, I was selling candy in elementary and high school, like, out of my locker. I was selling North Faces. In elementary school, I was doing the Kool-Aid stand, the lemonade stand. Like, I was working with my dad a lot as a handyman or a carpenter. So I was constantly, I was fortunate enough to be raised in a household where they taught me, like, instead of just asking for $20 to go to the movies, it's like there has to be an exchange. Like, you got to mow the grass, or like it has to be you have to do something. Like, I'm not just gonna hand you $20. So it always made me appreciate hard work and like the value of a dollar, and that it wouldn't just be given to me, to not have that expectation. So when I took this entrepreneurship class in Memphis, it was actually this individual. He came in with a blank piece of paper that had like an outline of a shoe on it, and he wanted us all to design the shoe. And so I came up with this. It was called like the KD canvases. It was like a Kevin Durant style shoe, where it was like whiteboard material. You could write a verse or something motivational on the sneaker, and then erase it and put something else on there. And I had this whole commercial concept of like this high school kid coming in at 5 a.m. to do his workouts, writing something, hashtag 1-0 or something, wins the game, erases. Next day, it starts to speed up 2-0, 3-0. Before you know it, he's writing hashtag states, because every day he was coming in to get that work in when nobody saw it. And so this whole concept and vision I explained to the guy, and he loved it so much that he offered me an internship after that class. And so, if anything, that's another key point too, is like, people should take every opportunity seriously. Like the individual that I'm referring to, his name's Edward Bogart. And he had just done a real big deal with Walmart. Like, he got his shoes in Walmart. And people thought it was funny because it's like, who buys shoes from Walmart? And it's like, a lot of people actually. And at the time, Walmart, it was, today still is like top 3 to 5 as far as actual storefronts across the world. So it was just a concept. Some people thought it was funny, like, yo, he got his shoes in Walmart. I saw it as an opportunity. Like, he just got his shoe into one of the biggest distributors in the game. And I thought there was a lot I could learn from him. So, just that relationship helped me understand that, okay, once I saw him do it for like a month or two and shadowed him, I was like, why don't I just start my own business? So that's actually when I started designing shirts for Christian athletes. And at the time, I put the word blessed on some dry fit, and so we could roll our jerseys up and like let the dry fit hang out. And I put the word blessed on the side, so it'd be on the bottom. And I was like, I had players all over college buying these shirts and wearing them in game days. And I would see Twitter, people with hashtag blessed shirt. And I even had a meeting with Nike. Nike called me to have me come sit down with them while I'm still a student. Like, this is before NIL and everything. And they told me I had to shut it down because, they pay millions of dollars for these schools to wear their products. And if people are talking about something else, then that's an issue. And so I said, well, let's us partner up. Like why doesn't Nike partner up with me and we'll do the blessed shirts? And he said it's a conflict of interest, because at the time they didn't want to side with any one specific religion or belief. And so what's funny is then obviously years later, they ended up doing the Muslim hijab, the headwear, and they put the Nike swoosh on there. And so like, I encourage that. I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just interesting how, a matter of 2 years, a lot can change. So it's just the concept, bro. Like, I've been doing a lot of things entrepreneurial. That class changed my life, me learning from that guy, him putting me on game. And then I just decided to take it and run with it.
So you went hard in the classroom, and no pun intended, you had a shoe-in with this company and this guy that mentored you. And, everybody's laughing and saying Walmart this, Walmart that. I had no money. I bought these shoes right here. I'll show you. I bought these shoes right here for one of my first jobs. I still have them.
Nice.
I bought these at Walmart. I was a busboy at Olive Garden, and I know you worked at Target, right? And
nice.
You're probably talking to your coworker friends about these ambitions that you have, and if you're anything like me, they didn't take it seriously because, oh, you're just like me. You work at Target. You work at Olive Garden. You're a busboy, right? And how did you learn to just either shut your mouth about it and just work in silence, or try and explain to them, I know I'm here now, but see me in 5 years, see me in 10 years, see where I'm going to be?
That's brilliantly worded, bro, because I know a lot of people listening probably go through the same thing. It's like, you get sick and you get almost fed up too, and so frustrated and tired of having to carry the weight of all these people discrediting or not believing where it is that you believe you can go, and it's like, it gets heavy. But the thing for me is, I feel like because I had already proven people wrong before and like seen my vision come to fruition before, it was just that much more conviction I had to, continue to try to fight my way to the goal. And I remember hearing a quote that sometimes you're too close to relate and not far enough away to separate. And like, because we both work at Target or because we both make the same income here, it's like, I'm not far enough away in separation financially for you to really see what it is that I'm talking about. So obviously it's much different now, because a lot of the things I said I was going to do, I did. So it becomes a different conversation. Obviously, years later, a lot of people will reach back out to me and say like, hey, I'm ready to get started. But I compare that to like surfing. If I'm in the water every single day and I'm telling, hey, there it is, bro. If I'm in the water every day and I'm telling them that I'm planning on riding 30 footers someday, they're like, what, bro? No way. That's impossible. You're in the shallow end with me right now. The difference is they would just be standing there on the beach or standing in the shallow end, not even willing to fail, not even willing to say, hey, they don't even have the belief, the courage to say, someday I'll be riding 30 footers. Yeah, whereas like I understand faith comes by hearing the word, not seeing it, not tasting it, not smelling it, hearing it. That's why, even up here behind my computer, I have my affirmations listed. On the back of my phone, I have my affirmations listed and I read them out loud. So that way I'm hearing the word. I'm hearing what it is that I am. So that way, whenever there's, it's like we have a cup and the cup is filled with water. This is a neutral energy, right? And if I can sprinkle into the cup my faith and my goals and my visions, it's like when hate and disbelief and negative energy gets put into the cup, it's like, as long as I'm still sprinkling that faith in there, it will die. You know what I'm saying? That negativity won't dilute it as much.
Like
because it's like, we're going to get that regardless. But once again, it's like, you're going to have to choose which faith grows or dies. Like, and that's why I'm so finicky, not just about who I spend time with and who I talk with, but also the words that I hear, because your words become your world. It's like when you look at words, spelling, right? It's like how words are spelled. So whatever you speak, you're literally casting spells onto your life. Even in Harry Potter, the wands are essentially a facade, that every spell is used with their mouth. So, obviously I know that a lot of that stuff might be a bit further, a bit deeper than a lot of people want to take it, but it's the truth. Once I got very specific about the words and things that I heard, for years of my life, bro, I would sleep with personal development on. I would literally just have it playing in the background. I would have my walls covered in quotes and images. And I just knew I had to surround myself with that, because a shark can't outgrow its tank. So it's like, if you're meant to be a 30-foot great white, but you're in a tank that only allows you to be a 6-foot great white, that's the largest you can grow. Which is also, I know, like we spoke about before, you're only 20 years old, bro, and you're about to be moving into your own place and, starting to level up in your life. And that's, bro, I grew up on Pokemon. I know I might be a little older than most. I'm 29, I'm a 93 baby, but my brother and I, we would collect the cards and play the Game Boy Color, and we grew up on it. But what I learned so much from it at an early age is, in order for you to level up, you have to evolve. Like, it's just the truth. I know it might sound funny, but it's like, it's so true. Even as humans, if we're going to level up and hit a new, part of our new phase of our life, there's going to have to require some type of evolution within us.
Yeah, facts. You start with Charmander before you get to Charizard. You know what I'm saying? To use that Pokemon example. Now, I seen the whiteboards and we spoke on that earlier, but nobody got to hear that. How do you find that the whiteboards help you, right? And a way that they help me is, if I leave the goals up there too long, it gets harder to erase them. So if they're up there for too long, it's going to be harder and harder to erase them. Because, I feel like that's a sign from the Most High telling me, get your stuff together. Your whiteboard's not clean, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you find that the whiteboards help you get what you need to get done?
Yeah, I call it permanent marker thoughts. So obviously a whiteboard is not permanent, But it's like whenever there are certain things that like, we have close to like 100,000 thoughts a day. So it's like the certain thoughts that I want to be like plain for me to see, write the vision, make it plain. There's certain thoughts that I just need to be written down so they stick. And then also the organization of it, like once again, back to football, we spent a lot of time on whiteboards, whether we're drawing up coverages or formations or going over plays. We spent a lot of time on whiteboards. So for me, it's kind of the same thing. It's like every day when we would walk into practice, they would have us write down 3 goals that we wanted to accomplish at that practice to show how specific that is. Like maybe owning the football, or maybe being perfect with how you finish. We had a rule, it was called Q cone, where if you handed the ball off, you still had to run 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, full speed. You had to give maximum effort. And it's like, those were things and areas that I would rarely ever get talked to about or questioned, because my effort and everything was always where it needed to be for the most part. But as far as us being our own entrepreneur or being in charge of our day-to-day, you have to be your own head coach, which means that you got to have your own at least 3 goals of the day or 3 things you want to get accomplished. And so I'm just at the point now where if I know my time is most precious, because money, if we lose, we can always make it back. But the time, if we lose it, we can't make it back. So if I understand that time is most precious, I have to schedule out my time and be even stingier with the time than I am with my money. Because if I know I can't get it back, it's like, like I said, I'm doing this interview, then I'm going to get a workout in, throwing some passes to a couple of receivers. Then I'm coming back and I'm getting some family time in. Then I got a call tonight at 9 p.m. where I'm teaching for an hour on trading. So it's just the concept, like success doesn't schedule itself.
Yes,
so
sir.
people have to get very organized and start lining it up.
Yes, sir. So a big reason why a lot of people have found you, I spoke to you earlier. I knew your name and all that before you had this viral video because, obviously you were the #1 JUCO quarterback. And me as a Florida fan, I wanted you personally when we lost Will Greer to the PEDs. What did you learn from this viral video of you smoking a joint after you threw a touchdown pass? And then what people don't know is you threw a few more after that.
Yeah, so shout out to the Gators, bro. Like I told you, if Florida had offered me, I would have went there with no hesitation. Like I remember going as a senior in high school. I had 2 other guys that were grades below me. They were juniors in high school, and they were actually being invited to come to a camp. They weren't getting offered, but they were at least invited down. And I remember going on the visit to Florida. It wasn't my visit. I was just there. Once again, a gem within this story is go be around it. Go like this. The closer you get to it, the realer it becomes. So it's like, even though I didn't make it to a SEC Florida, it's like me just seeing the weight room and stepping on the football field and like touching the grass and like seeing the coach's office and like, I don't know, bro. It like filled. If my tank was on empty, all I would ever have to do was think about like those type of moments, because it's like that's what I desired most. And God knows, He knows the desire of our heart. It's like, of course, He wants to please that and help us get there. So it was more so just how much was I willing to stick to that vision and test? Because even my sophomore year in college, bro, the year I was #1 in the nation, I had 2 separated shoulders, so I was having to get my shoulder taped into place for every practice and every game. I had a grade 2 AC separations. So it's like, just once again, test, bro. Like I could have said, no, my shoulder hurts too bad. Or like, I can't throw the way I would if I had healthy shoulders. And it's like, I knew that I couldn't get the time back. So in regards to hitting the gas, it was a much bigger reason than just like trying to go viral. Cause I've gone viral before, my 6-figure day has gone viral. I've had other videos, whether it's like meme style videos or videos of myself that have done a lot of numbers, but I wanted to play in a league where, I felt like fan controlled football, like that's, a lot of fans are at home smoking some gas, or a lot of former athletes use marijuana to help them on their journey, whether it's mentally or physically. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like if an athlete can chug a beer, like, bro, prime example, and I love the UFC, and I'm a big fan of Amanda Nunes, but like last night she won her UFC match. She regained the title. She got the belt. And the first thing she did was chug a beer. Not the first thing, but like that was a part of her celebration that a lot of people glorify. And that's all I'm getting at. It's like at some point, as a society, like we have to grow in that area too. And I understand that early on, before like a movement like that really takes place, it's gonna, people are gonna have mixed feelings. But because I'm a successful day trader and entrepreneur and have other things that we're creating much more money for me than playing in that league. That league, I just wanted to show I could still ball. I wanted to network, which I did. I ended up getting verified from that league. And, I had the biggest moment of that, of the year as far as that league was concerned with that celebration. So I got everything out of it that I had hoped to.
Yes, sir. And that kind of reminded me of like a modern day Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Clinking the beers and chugging it, right? I was never really a big beer drinker, but I do enjoy weed, right? I quit weed for quite a bit until I get my life together. That's just a personal thing. But I do want to hit on a few points that you spoke on, right? You said you can't get time back, but you can get money back, right? I always talk about on this channel, you get about 30,000 days in life. The average lifespan is about 70 to 80 years old. You 365 days in a year, you get about 30,000 days. And I say, don't waste any of them. You had $30,000 to live for your whole life. You're not going to waste $1, right?
That's
and as far as manifestation, right? You visited the University of Florida. You went into the locker rooms. You went into all these things, right? I kind of had a similar vision. Coming from no money, coming from, 6 kids in my household, 8 people in a 1,000 square foot house, and eating ramen noodles and hamburger helper. I went to Miami for my birthday, the first time I ever been to Miami. And, you're surrounded by all this stuff. And I'm feeling the same way you are. You touch the grass, you look around you and you say, whoa, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. I'm seeing Lamborghinis. I'm seeing, skyscrapers. You're from DC, so it's a little different. But, I had never seen a skyscraper before. And so those type of experiences, I kind of just want to put out there for the viewers. Like, if you haven't been to a place like where you're able to see all these things, right? Memphis is kind of similar. There's it's more city-like. All these areas where there's a lot of money, go see these places because it'll really inspire you. When I got back from Miami, that's when I told myself, no more drinking, no more weed, no more any of that. I was still working at the Olive Garden, making under $10 an hour, getting home at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, getting up, cutting grass with my parents. And that really inspires you to want to change your life. And within a 6-month period, I was able to do that. And I was able to, take my channel from 0 subscribers to, I'm almost at 1,100 right now. And, 6 months from that, who knows where it's going to be. And it's all about consistency, right? And if you surround yourself with these people, like you said, right? I talk about if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th one. If you surround yourself with, 5 bums, 5 people that are stuck in their old ways, they're going to bring you down with them. So what have you had to have some type of tough conversations with old friends and say, hey, man, I'm sorry you're doing this. I can't be a part of it no more.
What's funny, bro, is like, I feel like when you start making those decisions and start taking that action, that it'll naturally separate or sift itself, like no different than water and oil. Like if for the whole time you've been surrounded by oil and you yourself have been oil, once you turn to water and it's like, wait, like these aren't the same actions. He's not choosing to come do this, or like, we're not just sitting here playing the game all day. And like, cause like, trust me, like when I was in college, I would find myself having to make a lot of similar decisions. Like as much as I wanted to be one of the guys, which a lot of the time I was, and I still enjoyed, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there's people who make money on Twitch, right? There's people who make money gaming. Like, so Absolutely. It's just, there's no right or wrong thing to it. It's just more so, in your heart of hearts, what you feel like you should be doing or what you feel like you shouldn't. And like anytime your subconscious, or anytime that cricket, Geppetto is telling you like, why am I here? Like, I feel like I'm wasting time right now. Or like, then it's, once again, respectfully, go and put yourself in like, at least, separate yourself from that energy and get to it. Because when people talk about 5 people that they spend the most time with, whether it's bums or millionaires, the only difference really in those things, there's a couple, is like the conversations, the habits, and then the frequencies, like the energy, and it's like, that's really the only difference. It's just like decisions that are being made, the habits, the conversations, the abundance mindset. Like, it's just a difference versus scarcity and negativity and lack. And like,
absolutely.
So that's where I just, I remember I was on the Instagram live with Damon John, and I remember Damon John telling me that my energy was infectious. And like, even something like that, bro, that's a high level individual, someone who's on Shark Tank, someone who's come across millions and millions of people and had millions of interactions. So for him to only speak with me for 10, 15 minutes on an IG live and just instantly feel my genuine energy and appreciation and frequency, and to be able to pick up on that, it's like, those, once again, those are certain things that you have to be able to sit back and say, wow, like, if he's saying that about me, how could I not validate and appreciate that about myself?
Absolutely. And I feel the same way. That's why I hit you up. I like to be the dumbest person in the room, as weird as that sounds, right? And I'm not saying I want to be dumb, but I'm saying I want to surround myself with people that are very much better than me. My best friend moved down here from New York, and he, as soon as he moved down, he got the Florida bench record for his age. He's 20 years old, and he actually, and whenever I lift with him, it levels my game up, because he benches like 545, 550. He's my age. He's 5'8", I'm 5'6". So like, what's the excuse for me? You know what I'm saying? So and while it's not necessarily healthy to always compare yourself, but when you're surrounded by people that have ambition and goals, and they're chasing something that's bigger than them, it automatically, like, you don't even have to try, and you'll be kind of forced to get on that cycle yourself, and it really amplify your life. And another thing, when I did end up cutting these people off, which, like you were saying, water and oil, I was surrounded with a lot of bad people, because at the time, like I said, I didn't have money, and I was trapping, I was scamming, I was doing all that stuff, and thank God I got out of that stuff. But these people, as soon as I told them, man, I'm not messing with you no more, I don't want to go down that road. Either some of them got killed, some of them went to jail, like literally the week after. And like, I think it's like a month later, after I got out of all that stuff, I'm at home. It's a Friday night, it's 10 o'clock. I'm writing my first ebook ever. It's called Amplify Your Income, right? I'm writing this ebook, I'm putting it together, and I get a call from a girl that I used to talk to. And she says, hey, there's this party, it's about 10 minutes from your house, you want to go? And I tell her, no, I'm sorry, I can't go. I'm working on my business stuff. And I get criticized, and you never have any fun, right? And then God bless, but the next morning I wake up, and this party that 10 minutes from my house, 3 people got shot. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a sign from God, telling me, you could have been those people. And I made the choice. And I'm not saying, it's bad to party or anything, but what I'm saying is, if you have something that you're trying to achieve and you put your all into it, God will show you these signs, like, this could have been you, but you're actually doing what you said that you're going to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that, bro. And at the end of the day, it's like, we can all learn from each other. Like you even saying the 30,000 days, like that's something that I'll use and pass on. Like, there's only 2 jobs really of DNA. It's like to of a gene, you know, of a DNA. It's like to collect information, pass on information, and reproduce. You know, like so reproduce and pass on information. And so like that's, you know, down to the core, down to the true nature of like what we're created to do. That's it. And so even while we're having this conversation, pass on information. You know, pass on information. Like the cool thing is we're making the conscious decision to try to pass on some inspiration or pass on some positivity, pass on something that will help motivation, people to keep going and try to keep pushing. Because like even today, bro, my whole Instagram story was basically me explaining why I've been on like more of a meme style content, and like I'm having to explain myself because there's individuals that are upset that my content as of late has not been what they want. Right. And so it's like that's a prime example, bro. Like somebody like me, I'm putting out funny stuff, motivational stuff, inspiring stuff. Like it's just the concept of you can't please everyone. And if you find yourself caught up, even somebody like myself, who, you know, people see I'm verified, I got 140,000 followers. I'm doing financially well. Like I'm, you know, like they see the things and think that I still don't get haters or still don't have people messaging me trying to disprove or discredit what I've done. Oh, you only did 100,000 in a day. Why haven't you done 7? Like that's what I was saying earlier in the show. Is like it'll never be enough if you constantly allow someone else to value where you're at in life. And that's why when you think about self-confidence, you know what I mean? Self-love, it's like self first. You know, how do I feel about myself? And that's all back to affirmations. Like, how do I move? If I know one of my affirmations is, you know, I'm inspiring millions and you know, I'm impacting 100 million lives. I'm God's steward artist. I'm a now person. I'm healthy and in the best shape of my life. Like I'm traveling the world. I'm blessed and happy on this journey. Like these are I am statements that I just continue to hear and increase my faith with. So that way, when I experience the BS or the haters or the, you know, the crowd that you're trying to kind of disassociate with, it's a life choice, bro. That's really what it is. It's like for maybe like the first 2,000-3,000 days or 4,000 days of your life, you know, like you were spending it more so like the Dollar General. And like, I feel you, bro. Like that's why once I went from the Dollar General to my first 6-figure day, right? Like the Embassy Suites, it was so emotional. And you see me crying and I'm calling my mom and I'm calling my dad to, you know, share that experience because I had been at the Dollar General for so long too. You know, I had been homeless, been sleeping in gym bathrooms on yoga mats, been sleeping in IHOPs. You know, I had been through on benches in Houston. Like I had been through the, you know, the ringer as far as experiencing that level of life. So, you know, now that I'm here with, you know, a little like these views, you know what I mean? I'm up here in the clouds in Atlanta and Midtown, and like, I'm just grateful for it all, man, because I know what I come from. I know what I've experienced. So, you know, anyone that's listening, I actually got to head out and get to a workout, so we'll wrap it up. But, you know, anyone that's listened to this and gotten value, I encourage you, you know, like anything could happen to either one of us within the next 24, 40 hours. God forbid, I pray it doesn't, but it's just the reality. Like as beautiful as life is, it can still be very harsh and ugly. And like, that's the nuance of it, you know, the yin and yang. But anyone listening, I encourage them, like, get very specific about what it is that you want, not because other people say you should want that thing, but because genuinely in your heart of hearts, you know that's something that you desire and feel like you can accomplish. So anyone that feels that way, keep going. Keep going. You got 30,000 days roughly. And within that 30,000, at least your pursuit of that goal, it will be worth it.
Yes, sir. It was very enlightening to whatever the word is. It was great to actually collaborate with you. You know, I learned a lot. I hope that the viewers learn a lot. You know, honestly, and I'm gonna let you go in a minute, but you know, my whole reason why I started this channel, if I could just change one person's life, you know, I don't really care if I get 1 million views, 200 million views, or whatever. It doesn't matter. If I could change one person's life, because like the other people before me have changed my life and, you know, got me out of the situations that I was in, you know, sneaking into the gym at 2 a.m. because I can't afford a membership. And you know what I'm saying? But if I could just change one person's life, or I know you have a similar goal, then I know that I did something. So I really appreciate you. And I hope we can do this again, you know, some other time soon.
No doubt, bro. Keep going. You know, like you had to start the same place everyone else did, with 0 subscribers, 0 views. Like, and once again, just keep in mind that the view counts, the likes, subscriptions, none of it determines value. Some of the people I love most in this life and care about the most don't have any platforms or channels. Like, it's like I only have access to them through a phone call, you know. So, and it's like whether that's, you know, my parents or older individuals that it's just not part of their generation as much. It's just the concept, like that stuff is just one metric. But a lot of times, because we're all so used to like measuring how much we lift or how many yards did I throw for, like we get so used to always measuring the metrics that that's where we place the value. And so I just want people to keep shining their light, shining their creativity, like doing what they enjoy and what makes them passionate. And like it's like anything, you know, like haters are like oxygen, like you know what I'm saying? It's not something that you can just get rid of, especially when you start to do the right thing. So yeah, bro, you know, I appreciate you having me on, and keep doing your thing, bro. I'm a fan. I'm a subscribe, you know, and show love. I'm excited for
Yes,
you.
sir. Where can they find you?
Yes, sir. Let's run it up, bro. You can find me at QB Stew, QBSTEW, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not on as much, but yeah, just in general, QB Stew. You guys can check me out. So I appreciate you, bro. Let's run it.
All right. You heard the man. All right. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. More life. Let's go.